Football is the game. America's first and only soccer wagering podcast is back on the air. Our focus, the English Premier League, the English Championship, and we are back after a long hiatus. Back by popular demand, here is the Friday Soccer Paycheck. I am Stephen Murray. We are broadcasting live from our Deep End Studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, in the United States of America. Our goal was to get on the air about 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Today, we're about 35 minutes late. We went ahead and added a lot of little production features, nice little backdrop. Got our logo updated, and here we are. I think the last time we probably talked to you on the Paycheck was, let's see, probably May 2024. Could that possibly be right? We took a whole year off and then a little bit more. To be honest, we just kind of didn't focus on soccer last year. We tried to take it off a little bit. And we've been very successful wagering in soccer for sure. I think we just needed a mental break. It just really wasn't into soccer as a whole, to be honest, for all of last season. And then we got to 2026 here, and we started up in August with the EPL in the championship. And I dipped my hands into it just a little bit, nothing crazy. I think just generally wagers have been down overall. And not related to soccer, we went ahead and decided, we meaning me, to lay off the NBA this year, a sport that we've had success at, that we've won at, but it's very demanding mentally, especially with like roster substitutions and stuff like that. There's so many injuries, with like Tatum, Halliburton, guys that I like. It just the NBA just didn't really grab my interest when it was kind of getting going. And I said to myself, Steve, you're focusing so much on, the NFL and, coming off a good baseball season as well. Why not just take the NBA off and let's just see if that gives you maybe a little bit more mental clarity, not working as much at this craft, which is demanding. If you're trying to be profitable, you need to put in really a lot of time and research. So, excuse me, definitely a little bit of a bug in the air on this frigid winter day here in Virginia. But we've taken the NBA off. Now, I've used my profit boost and a little bit like that. So I can't say I've been completely free of it, but the wagers from past years are down way far. So looking to fill the void a little bit, we started to kind of trickle soccer back in and started to kind of get back interested in it. And we've had actually a lot of success here in the last 2 months or so. Wagering on soccer. So it's been so good. Even the guys are like, come on, Steve, you got to bring the show back. I'm wondering if this is the ultimate jinx on everything that we've been doing. We've been doing so well at it. You hate to bring the podcast back now, and then we fall flat on our faces. But there's been a method to the madness, and I think we'll try to continue that trend. And let's see if we can't capitalize and become profitable here the last weekend of January, first part of February, and now what do we have? We have all of February, March, April, and May. So 3.5 months or so until we get the end of the soccer season and we're into the summer. So that gives us plenty of time. And when we get to warmer weather, we get a lot of goals. And I'll just generally kind of start to recap the previous part of the season and where we see it now. Now, we've been very fortunate, I think, with always weather is an issue. You always got to be aware of that. And it's very cold in the U.S. So looking at games in the UK, maybe this applies this weekend. But generally, we've had very, very warm weekends in the UK. Just not super cold, frigid. I mean, you've had, temperatures in the low 50s. That's like a summer compared to those guys. I mean, even right now, today's a high of a 50 in London, a high of 51 tomorrow, no rain, a high of 50 Sunday, no rain in London. So those are basically ideal weather conditions. And that's the kind of thing that we're going to look to try to capitalize on for ourselves. So I suggest you get your pen and paper ready, take some notes. Our focus will be the English Premier League. It will be the English Championship. And I will say that our picks are generally far and few in between in the EPL. And most of our winners have definitely come out of the championship, which is nice and refreshing. So let's see what we have going on. We'll look at the tables first. We'll start with the EPL. We'll go through the slate there. Then we'll get to the championship, look at the table, and go through the slate there. And we'll see what we can come up with plays for the weekend. I definitely have my teams. I've been tailing teams that have been in my profile. And those are the ones that we'll try to continue to focus on and try to get a good financial groove here for us this weekend. All right, so weather looks good. That's the most important thing. All right, guys, if you're going to post on YouTube, Fat2 F41, I see you. What's up, bro, to you? Fort Dan Pro, I see you as well. Whatever E means, E back to you, sir. Let us know where you are listening from around the world. I'd be interested to know that for sure. So if you're going to comment on the YouTube, let us know where you are at. Again, this program is on my network, the Deep End Broadcasting Network, YouTube, Deep End, like a swimming pool, DEEPEND, Broadcasting, and click and subscribe, right? That's what the kids say. Okay, so let's get to the slate of games, and we'll look at the Premier League table first. And I should have this stuff up and ready to go, except for the fact that we've been playing with the AI and everything. So let me go ahead and get the current standings of the EPL. Let's see, there's our injury table that we've had in previous years. Here's the table. Let's see if this updates now. 2023. Now, look, the date on our logo check does go back to our original date. I'm impressed that the EI was able to kind of come up with that. So let's see here. Newly updated on the table. And I will say this. I do have a future in a multi-sport round robin with our third place team, Aston Villa, to win the championship at big, big odds. And they are currently 4 points behind our leader, Arsenal. All right. So Arsenal is first. Man City is second. Let me see if I can bring up a bigger table because I want us to know what kind of form these guys are in here. So if you just excuse my mess here for half a second. Yeah, see, we don't care about injuries right now. I want to get our game winning streaks. And it's tricky, too, because these guys all have been playing European soccer. I think everyone here won in their matches midweek. Arsenal won 3-2. Aston Villa with a thrilling come from behind victory 3-2. So that's another thing to keep in mind is that you have these teams that are playing extra games in European football during the week. Does that cause wear and tear on the weekend? Yeah, it does. So we got to kind of keep a lot of that in mind as well. Okay, so here's our scores. And let's get to the table. I mean, are they going to give us the recent form here? Okay, I should generally know. I can click on the teams if I need to. I mean, but Arsenal did lose their last time out to Man United here on the Sunday, 3-2. So they are everyone's kind of favored. You feel like everyone thinks that Arsenal's going to win. But here's what Arsenal doesn't do. They don't bludgeon you like 4-0, 3-0, 5-0. A lot of times they're winning their games 2-0, 1-0. There's been several of those. It's just not a team that seems to score a ton of goals. In fact, they're averaging under 2 goals a game. They've only scored 42. That is second most, but they're not, again, like throttling teams like the Man City teams of past years who just put up a ton of goals. Man City has scored 47 themselves, so they're a little bit over the average. Aston Villa, they've scored 35. Man United, they sit in fourth. That's probably a good surprise for them. They've scored 41. From there, it drops off. Chelsea, 39. And this is with everyone playing 23 games. No one's played any more or any less. So keep that in mind as well. Liverpool, they're kind of down on their goals, 35. My team, who I've been riding, Fulham, 32. Now, there's been a lot of lower scoring games in the first part of the season. And now I feel like goals have been up here in recent weeks. So these numbers are kind of deceiving amongst some of these teams. Like Fulham, they've only scored 1 goal, I think, once in their last at least 5 or 6 games from what I remember. I bet them every week, and they've been a lock for 2 goals. So they're doing much better. Newcastle, for instance, they've been scoring a lot more lately. They have 32 goals in 23 games. Everton is a team that struggles to score. Sunderland is as well. Brighton, they haven't been as dynamic as the past. Bournemouth has been good. They've scored 38 goals in their 23 games. Their problem has been at defense. They just allow a lot of goals themselves. They've allowed 43, which is just about as much as anyone else. Only West Ham is worse. West Ham United, they only have 27 goals, but I swear most of those have been in the last month as well. So your top 3, Arsenal, Man City, Aston Villa, and then it drops off to the bottom 3 that are fighting right now for relegation. Let's see. West Ham would be your last team that's not free, the closest one to getting freedom. They trail Nottingham Forest by 5 points. So 25 is the safe line with Nottingham. West Ham has 20. Burnley has 15. Still time to rally for them. And Wolverhampton, just with 8. They need to get things going. Wolverhampton with just 1 win on the season. Burnley with just 3. West Ham, again, like I said, playing better as of late. Just 5 wins for them. Plenty of time if you're a team like West Ham still to get out of the bottom. We got 14 games left or so, right? We play 38 games. So, we're about 60% done with the season. Leeds, 26, so serve them right to get some wins. Crystal Palace, Tottenham. Tottenham's had a bad season for them. Although they're a +2 goal differential, they just haven't been getting the wins. 28 points for them, 28 for Palace. All those teams kind of in Sketchyville, but okay. It'd just be nice to get some wins if you're any of those teams. Bournemouth is 13th. Brighton right there at 12th. Sunderland is going to end up being a nice story. Although they're a -2 goal differential and they don't score much, they don't allow much. They've been very good defensively, and they're well above the safe zone at the moment. So what was once a fall from grace for Sunderland, trickling down to the championship, and then even down to the League One below the championship, almost really the League Two, and then having the rally all the way back and climb the ladder through the championship and back to the EPL. Nothing less than a success story for them. So good job by Sunderland on the strong season that they've been having. Everton, again, they're just as mediocre as it gets, right there at number 10, scoring 25 goals and allowing 26. So the moral of this is trends of scoring are up here in the colder weather, and let's just see what we can come up with in the EPL. All right, for Dan, Florida, I get it. To 70 East, Badger Lane. Okay, good to know. We didn't need to know all that, but good to hear from you down in Florida, Fort Dan. Let's see here. All right, to the lines here for the English Premier League. And I think as this program goes along, we'll get a ticker up and, we'll get something fun along the board here. Let's see. We have 4 games on Saturday. There's no early game. So 3 games at the 10 o'clock Eastern window and 1 game at the 12:30 window. There's on the 5th Saturday game. It's going to be a night game over there in the UK, which is 3 p.m. Eastern time here in the States. Sunday, nice card in the morning. We have 3 games at 9 a.m. Eastern and a game at 11:30, and then 1 on Monday as well. And I'm wondering if we're not going to get a bunch of no plays here, but let's see what we get. First game Saturday morning is Brighton and Everton. And that's another beautiful thing about this show as well. This is kind of a first instincts show. Doesn't take me long to kind of zero in on who we want. I'm avoiding propaganda for the week for the most part, and not listening to a bunch of people pick a bunch of teams to try to get me from, getting off what I think is the right maneuver here. If there's a play in this one, Brighton is usually a team I would take, and over 1.5 goals is going to be the focus here, unless we try to get greedy on a round robin ticket, which we will. There will be 4 or 5 plays. We'll take over 2.5 goals. But for the most part, we're looking at teams to either just win on their money line or teams just to get over 1.5 goals. And the beautiful thing about over 1.5 goals is that once you get to 2, you're a winner, and that's it. I mean, even at a 2-2 tie or a 2-3 loss, you still cash your ticket home. Brighton, and for me, this would be Brighton or nothing. Although Everton is kind of the sneaky team here that could score 2. They just don't score enough for me, and I don't want to really trust them on the road. But the home team, Brighton, is minus 113 to get the 2 goals. And the away team, Brighton, is plus 240 to get the 2 goals, which is actually a really good number for Everton. So it's tempting because Everton might actually be the better team here at plus 320 on the money line as well. But I think at the end of the day, this kind of has like draw written all over it. 1-1. Maybe 2-2. It's just, it's not anything I think I want to jump at. Our man has always been Cairo Matoma for Brighton. He is plus 310 for a goal scorer, so that's not the worst thing in the world. There's a Solly March. He's always been a good one for us as well at plus 330. I think I want to trust Brighton here to win this game. Everton is so sound defensively. I just don't know that they can get to 2. And Brighton has lacked that finishing kind of pizzazz that would make you want to lean on them to score a lot of goals. So I think at the end of the day, it's a no play, and we just go ahead and find better things on the board here with Brighton and Everton. All right. The next game, Leeds. Leeds is a plus 500 home team. The draw is plus 310. Arsenal minus 180. Now, Leeds has been really good, right? Except they've been really good lately. They didn't really start the season super great. Their success basically has come in recent weeks, I think. Let's go ahead and click on them. Let's see what they've done here in their last few games. Let's see. They have let me make sure I'm getting the most recent game here. Yeah, last time out, Leeds tied Everton 1-0. They beat my Fulham team 1-0. Let's see. A 4-3 game against Newcastle. So that was kind of an up and down affair. Man United 1-1. It was 4-4, right? A few weeks back. No, 3-3 with Liverpool is what I'm thinking of. Let's see. 1-1 against Sunderland. 0-0 against Liverpool as well. They beat Crystal Palace handily 4-1. So it's not like they've scored a ton of goals themselves, Leeds. They got 3 against Derby in the FA Cup. But the last 2 games out, just a goal in each of those games. Now, against Arsenal, Arsenal is one thing, it's defense. So trying to score on them is tough. But let's see here. I mean, their Champions League opponent scored 2 on them. Man United scored 3 on them. Again, Champions League, 1 goal given up. 0 against Nottingham, but they scored 0. They had a 3-2 win over Chelsea. 4-1 in the FA Cup they won. 0-0 against Liverpool. Actually had a good exact score prediction on that game, Arsenal and Liverpool. I had that 0-0. 3-2 against Bournemouth. 4-1 against Villa. And before that, though, Arsenal, just over 2 goals. They got to 3 goals once in about 8 games prior to their big win against Aston Villa, which came, let's see now, right at the end of December. So probably they have cranked it up a notch, you would say, goal-wise. And Leeds does give you goals. So probably, probably an opportunity here for Arsenal actually to get 2 goals. I think mainly by a byproduct of what Leeds gives you. And that is goals defensively. The away team, Arsenal, instead of winning minus 180, get over 1.5 goals is minus 142. Is it the best play on the board? Maybe not. But I think we throw them on there. We throw them on a ticket for now. So we'll throw Arsenal over 1.5 goals on our primary ticket. All right. Let's see what's next. The Wolves and Bournemouth. Again, we talked about Bournemouth being a higher scoring team, and the Wolves defensively can be atrocious. So they can give up goals. You would think that this is a chance to be an over type of game, perhaps, with the Wolves putting up a good effort at home since they have a new manager. So a chance here, I think, for an over. Wolves plus 195, Bournemouth plus 135. Let's look at the team goals each. I wouldn't bet under. Let's put it that way. And over 2.5 might be the play, a minus 144. That way you're just hoping to get the 3. Over 3.5 is plus 176. If you want to play, 3 plays to try to get good plus money, I think you can add this over 3.5 plus 176. I'll say that's not too bad, to be honest. Again, Wolves just playing better, and Bournemouth can score and will give up goals. Home team, the Wolves, plus 140 for 2. Away team, Bournemouth, plus even money, plus 100 for 2 goals scored. So I like it. Plus 430 to get the 5 goals combined for both of these teams as well. So if you want to do some sort of super exotic round robin ticket where you want to have 3 or 4 games to get over 4.5 and parlay those all together in a 2, 3, 4 game parlay, mix them up, match them up every which way you can with 4 or 5 teams, I think you can throw in this Bournemouth Wolves game and try to give it a chance here to get over their goals. Any way you want to play it, over 1.5 for each side, over just 2.5, being conservative, over 3.5, over 4.5. I think I'll let you go on that. So I'll give this game a green light. It seems like a decent matchup, as does this one. I could see goals here because West Ham's been scoring. They've been dynamic a little bit more offensively. They're plus 500 to win this game. Again, you got to remember, Chelsea's been playing soccer midweek too. This is the kind of game where West Ham can kind of come up and bite you a little bit. And it's not like Chelsea's been super, super dynamic at the end of the day. Yes, they're a good team. They've been nice. But overall, they do let you down a little bit here. I hate to recommend West Ham for an outright win here, but man, you are priced in pretty nice at 5-1, and they are playing a much better form than what they have been. And hey, this is how you make money. You got to be zagging when other people are zigging, and people are going to be zigging on this Chelsea side, thinking West Ham might be some sort of a layup here. Over 2.5 goals is minus 188. I think you can take that route. Over 3.5 is plus 138. Over 4.5 is at plus 320 if you want to mix any of that in with the Wolves, or just parlay those two together. I just hope for a goal fest. The West Ham team goals for them over 1.5 is plus 240. So that's a nice payout for West Ham to get to 2 goals. Over 1.5 for Chelsea. I think we talked about that, did we? Maybe not. Minus 215. I wouldn't trust that as much, to be honest. I would trust the plus 240 with West Ham and maybe just take a shot here on a dog. Does this game end up 1-1? That could be the case. That could be the case. Chelsea could be just stubborn enough defensively not to let West Ham score, and then maybe they mess it up a little bit offensively. I'd venture to say both teams score here, and I think Chelsea gets there too. The question would be, does West Ham get there too? I wouldn't doubt it. In fact, the correct score for 2-2, let's take a look at that here, because this is a good old trick that we do, especially if you like to draw. 2-2 pays 14-1. 3-3 pays 45-1. 1-1 pays 8-1. 0-0 pays 20-1. The draw is at plus 350. So in essence, you could take the correct score combinations of 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, and 3-3. And let's say we hit the 2-2 at 14-1. We have $100 on it, so we're plus $1,400. Now we're going to lose the other 3 bets we had, 0-0, 1-1, and 3-3 at $100 each, which is minus 300 off that 1,400. So now we're at plus 1,100. So we're now getting plus 1,100 on the draw instead of plus 350. And you could actually play preventative maintenance on this type of thing, because if they get to 2-2 in the first half, you start playing out live on the correct score, 4-4 and 5-5, which you're getting ridiculous odds on now. I mean, it wouldn't hurt you even to put a little something on 4-4 at 250-1 odds if you think that this could be a draw, which I think this definitely could be, to be honest. So instead of playing the draw price at plus 350, You're priced in on the correct score on the ties. And you just got to play them all. All right. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense strategically to you guys. All right. Lots of viewers today on the Paycheck. I like it, guys. Let us know where you are tuning in from. So we have green light on the Wolves and Bournemouth, green light on Chelsea and West Ham. A little bit tougher game, night game. It's going to be a hostile environment for Newcastle. We like Newcastle, but they've been playing midweek soccer, and so has Liverpool. And Liverpool, they just won 6-0 in a game that's, they're seeded third in Champions League. Let's see here. Let's see what Liverpool's been doing with their recent EPL games. They lost to Bournemouth. That's what they can do. They can lose to Bournemouth for you, 3-2. They can tie Burnley 1-1. They've been doing great outside of EPL, but when they get into EPL play, 0-0 against Arsenal, 2-2 against Fulham, 0-0 against Leeds. They barely beat the Wolves 2-1. Beat Tottenham 2-1. Winners over Brighton 2-0. All right. Not exactly cutting edge if you're Liverpool. And Newcastle's a tough opponent. This is a good team. Let's see here. Newcastle. If we pull them up. And Liverpool right now is your sixth team. So they're out of the top four at the moment. Newcastle in recent EPL play lost to Aston Villa 2-0. 0-0 against the Wolves. 0-2 against Man City. 3-3 against Bournemouth. That was the FA Cup, actually. 4-3 winners against Leeds. So when was that game? That was January 7th. So it's been a few weeks since. Newcastle's been super dynamic. I think we lay off this game and just kind of pay some attention here and see what happens for the future. Newcastle's got to the point where I don't know if you can really trust them. Liverpool's not been in the best EPL form either, and both of these teams have played midweek soccer. So 3:00 Eastern Standard Time, night game over for you guys over there in Europe, if you're tuning in from over there. I say we'll lay off of it. If you need to have some sort of a correct score, maybe 1-1. I think you're priced in decently at the draw at plus 290. Newcastle can hold their own. They can't sneak a goal in on you for sure. I just don't trust either one. Could this be a goal fest? Yeah, it absolutely could. So if you want to play over 4.5 or 3.5, I'm not going to fault you there. But to pick which one's going to be better than the other in this game is going to be a little bit tough, at least for me. You're getting plus 164 and over 3.5. Minus 158 is over 2.5. Something tells me this is a 1-1 game. I'm going to pass. All right, let's get to Sunday. Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. Forest minus 105, Palace plus 290. Palace is in all kinds of disarray. The manager wants to leave, and they have all kinds of issues right now. So I think we are going to pass on this game altogether. We don't really like Nottingham Forest too much either. They haven't been in our profile. Let's just kind of take a look and see what these two teams have been doing. Both of these teams way down the table here. Let's see. Nottingham Forest beat Brentford their last time out 2-0. Tied Arsenal. Lost to Fulham. Lost to Man City. Beat Tottenham. Lost to Everton 3-0. So just wishy-washy results left and right kind of for them. And Crystal Palace hasn't fared any better. And if anything, much worse. Losers to Chelsea 3-1. Losers to Sunderland 2-1. Draw with Aston Villa. Losers to Newcastle 2-1 or 2-0. 1-1 against Fulham. Losers 0-1 to Tottenham. Losing to Leeds 4-1. So they can't score. Crystal Palace having a tough time to scoring. I can't recommend any side on this game, so we will pass here. Aston Villa and Brentford. Aston Villa plus 110, Brentford plus 250, the draw plus 250. Brentford's an interesting team. They play much better at home than on the road, I think, right? They are upper half of the table. Recent form for them, lost to Forest 2-0, lost to Chelsea 2-0, beat Sunderland 3-0, beat Everton 4-2, draw against Tottenham, beat Bournemouth 4-1, beat the Wolves 2-0, lost to Man City 2-0. Mixed results overall. Where Aston Villa has been just simply fantastic, to be honest. Now, they are playing midweek soccer as well, so that's kind of the troubling thing here. But they beat Newcastle. Let's see. Lost to Everton, which was kind of a surprise. Beat Tottenham. Drew Crystal Palace. Beat Nottingham. Got killed by Arsenal. And then before that, they were way red hot, winning just about everything to be down their schedule. So what's their recent form like now? This looks like to me a good game where Aston Villa at least probably just has the home field advantage here. Could Bournemouth or Brentford upset the day? Yeah, they could. Is Aston Villa worth taking over 1.5 goals? I think they're always worthy of that. So let's just take a look at the number there. Let's not get too crazy with anything else. But the home team, Aston Villa, to get the 2 goals is minus 102. So I think you're priced in with that. So we'll put that on a primary ticket with Arsenal right now over 1.5. We'll throw on the other ticket. This is our 1.5 goals ticket. We'll throw in Aston Villa and Arsenal, knowing that Chelsea, West Ham, and the Wolves and Bournemouth will put out some sort of a combined over ticket with both of their scores combined. But individually, Arsenal over 1.5, Aston Villa over 1.5. Say that with relative confidence. Obviously, this is soccer, and goals can be very difficult to come by at times. Sometimes it feels like there's a million piles of hay stacked in front of that goal. Can't get anything in. All right, my Fulham team is at Man United. Man United minus 175, Fulham plus 440, the draw plus 340. Fulham has been great for me. They just have. I think they'll show up in this game. I think you put this more so on the risky ticket because Man United's been so good as well. It's hard to ride Fulham here fully. But if you have some sort of a risky ticket with big odds to pay out, you got to throw Fulham on there somewhere. So put them on your big odds ticket, plus 255 for 2 goals for Fulham, or even the outright win, plus 500. Obviously, we get upset winners in the Premier League all the time. And why not against plus 440, not plus 500. And why not against Man United, who's just coming off a great win against Arsenal. Let's look at Man United's recent form, just to kind of clarify that they haven't been blowing everything out of the water completely here. They are your 4th place team on the table here. Let's see. They beat Arsenal. They beat Man City. Those are good back-to-back wins. That's impressive. 5 goals in those 2 games. Lost to Brighton in the FA Cup. They tied Burnley, tied Leeds, a draw with the Wolves. So 3 consecutive draws. Beat Newcastle 1-0. Lost to Aston Villa. 4 goals apiece for them and Bournemouth. So the recent 2 wins is indicating they're turning it up now. And maybe this is a goal fest of over 2.5 or 3.5 goals. So I think that's not the worst play in the world, because maybe they'll rely on both of these teams to score. Maybe this is your high scoring game here at the 9:00 window. Over 3.5 goals is that plus 164. Over 4.5 is that plus 390. So if you're going to have, again, a round robin of 3 or 4 teams with their combined overs, I think this one fits the profile decently. Fulham has been in good form. Man United just beating arguably the best 2 teams in the Premier League, at least by standings. They are the best 2 teams. So red hot form. Let's go for the goals. Fulham and Man United. Tottenham and Man City. Both of these teams are obviously teams I've played in the past. Man City in recent years, I mean, they've been a bookie killer. Tottenham, and pre the dispatching of Harry Kane and Son Young, have been fantastic. Now they're a little different story. This just reeks of a 1-0 game to me at Tottenham. I don't trust either one at the moment. At 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, probably a lean with the over. Probably a lean with Man City to score 2 goals, but nothing screams at me this game. You are getting no, you aren't. You're not. You got to risk 160 to get 2 goals for Man City. I just don't know. I mean, you have the best goal scorer in Holland, but he's been kind of banged up and not playing exactly all the time. So maybe just a pass. Maybe at this point in the weekend, you're kind of done with soccer anyway. If there is if you have to put a gun to my head, I will lean over both these teams instead of under at the end of the day. Monday, we have a game, Sunderland and Burnley. I would expect Sunderland to win this game at home. Do they get 2 goals? I think you could probably put them over 1.5 goals scored against Burnley, but I'm not going to go super crazy here. Let's see, over 1.5 home team goals for Sunderland is at plus 106. This is kind of a game Monday by itself. By this time, you're just kind of done with soccer for the weekend for the most part. If you have to play something Monday, I will try to go with Sunderland to get 2 goals. But they could win this game easily, 1-0, right? And then kind of screw you up. Let's see. Recent form. Sunderland only scored 1 goal against West Ham. I mean, they scored 2 against Crystal Palace, just 1 against Everton, 0 against Brentford, just 1 against Tottenham, 0 against Man City, just 1 against Leeds, 0 against Brighton, just 1 against Newcastle. I mean, they haven't been scoring. So, I mean, I don't even know if I could recommend that. All the way down, they haven't scored. Let's see. In the English Premier League, they scored 3 goals against Bournemouth back on November the 29th. Since then, Sunderland has scored over 1 goal once, and that was against a bad Crystal Palace team. This is a pass. I can't do it. Burnley's not going to be much better. Let's just take a look at them. Burnley, but they tied Liverpool 1-1. They tied Tottenham 2-2. So they are playing a little friskier. FA Cup, they beat Millwall 5-1. They tied Man United 2-2. Lost to Brighton 2-0. Lost to Newcastle 3-1. Tied Everton. Tied Bournemouth. So as bad as Burnley's been, they haven't been horrible. This is a no play on the Monday game for me. All right, so our plays here in the Premier League. We'll take over 1.5 goals with Arsenal and Aston Villa for the team goals. Those two plays by themselves, plus 237. We'll take over in the Wolves Bournemouth game, Chelsea West Ham game. And when I say over, I mean 3.5. You want to risk 4.5, that's fine as well. I think 2.5 is the lock. But Wolves Bournemouth, Chelsea West Ham, and Man United and Fulham. Those are your 3 highest scoring games in the EPL. All right, let's get to the championship, and we'll browse down that menu. All right. In the championship, our top team is Coventry, 58 points. Middlesbrough is in second, 55. Ipswich, 3 through 6. Now, look, 1 and 2 get promoted automatically. 3 through 6 play for a playoff to get the third promotion. Right now, it'd be Ipswich, Hull City, both with 50. Millwall, 49. Derby County, 45. Now, I told you I had Aston Villa on a future at a big payout in the EPL. In the championship, I bought at a good time. Let's see. We've cut into the lead nice here. We bought Middlesbrough at 25-1 odds. They trail now by 3 points. And we bought Hull City at 125-1 odds. Here they are, just 8 points back of Coventry. Is this updated correctly? Let me just make sure of this. So I thought we were a little closer. Okay, yeah, this is right. Okay. So at 125-1 odds, I got this team Hull who's been red hot. They won 4 out of their last 6. They have 1 draw in there. Ipswich is the third place team. That's another team we've been riding. They have 4 wins in their last 6. We've been playing Middlesbrough. They have 4 wins in their last 6. Derby, we've been playing Derby. 4 wins in their last 6. And when I say play, I mean over 1.5 goals. So even when you're losing, you're still winning in a lot of these cases. Wrexham, we just played them for the first time last week. They had that dramatic victory. Go look at those highlights if you haven't seen how Wrexham won their game last week. Completely insane in the 90+2 minute and a 90+3 minute, getting 2 goals to rally over QPR. Watford was in good form. They've kind of fallen apart. They're your 8th place team. Let's see, your 6th spot and in the playoff now, Derby County 45. Within a shouting distance of them, Wrexham 44, Watford 43, Bristol 43, Preston 43, Stoke City 42, Queen's Park Rangers 40, Birmingham 39, Leicester 38, Southampton 37, Swansea 36. And now we're getting closer to the relegation end of things. 35 points for Sheffield, 33 Norwich, 32 for Charlton, 32 for West Brom, 30 for Portsmouth. And then your relegation teams right now are Blackburn, 29, Oxford, 27, and everyone's quitting on Sheffield Wednesday. They have a -7 after being penalized. I think their managers wants to leave. They lost their best player now, and they're getting thumped by everybody. Know that Sheffield Wednesday is an automatic play against right now at this moment in time. They conceded 56 goals and have only allowed 18. 56 conceded goals is ridiculous. That's in 28 games. So that's 2 goals a game. You would think it'd be even worse, to be honest. And this was a lower scoring league at first. And again, goals have been up here. in the last month or two, where we've been red hot on these plays. The team's in bad form. Sheffield Wednesday. Let's see. Blackburn. They haven't won any time recently. Portsmouth. They've been drawing you out. They have a couple wins. They haven't been losing. West Brom has been bad. A lot of losses on their last 6. Only one win. Only one win and 2 draws for Charlton. Norwich at the bottom of the table has been red hot. They've won 4 or 5. Sheffield United, hit or miss. We've been hitting on their team goals decently, but they've kind of hit a little bit of a rut. Swansea has been improved. A draw and 3 wins for them in their last 6. Mixed results for everyone kind of up from there. And then your hotter teams are Wrexham right now, Derby, Millwall has been great. Hull City has been great. Hull City has scored 47 and have allowed 40. They've been a super over team. Ipswich has been hot. Middlesbrough has been hot. Okay, so let's see what we got. If it's a no play, it's a no play, and we fly right through it. All right, Leicester and Charlton at home. I think you got to give Leicester a slight edge here to get their team goals. Now, they are down closer to the middle of the table, but they're much better than Charlton. And they can win you a game or two at the end of the day. They have scored 40 goals. So over 1.5 is not reaching for the stars here. Charlton just hasn't been good. You like Leicester kind of at home to be able to at least get 2 goals, you would think. So if you want an early morning play to throw on, you need your 7:30 a.m. action, then I think Leicester is a good one to go ahead and play if you want to. Again, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, Southampton and Stoke. Stoke has been in the free fall. Southampton, with their recent form, has been very mixed. They were kind of hot, and now they've cooled down. I think they're a better team than Stoke, but I'm not sure. Stoke is better in the standings with at least a couple of wins here. But neither team's been hot. I think at the end of the day, that's probably a pass. Sheffield Wednesday at Wrexham. Wrexham's minus 280. Wow. I think you got to lay the wood against Sheffield Wednesday. Take Wrexham for over 1.5 goals. Let's see. You're not going to get paid super great. You're going to have to risk a lot of money, but throw them on there. Minus 186. I think you throw them on with Aston Villa and Arsenal. So let's continue to build this primary ticket. Aston Villa over 1.5. Arsenal over 1.5. We'll throw Wrexham over 1.5. Sheffield Wednesday is an auto fade. Swansea and Watford. Swansea is always a nice risky team to try to get over 1.5. They get to 2 a lot more often than you would think. Watford's been kind of tough. You like Swansea better at home than on the road, so probably just a pass here. Preston hasn't been great. You feel like they've been falling apart. They were much better earlier in the season. Ipswich at home should be able to get 2 goals against them. Ipswich, home team over 1.5. That's again minus 188. That's all right. And you want to play this with a profit boost too, guys. So that's going to eliminate a lot of your juice, especially in this parlay. But right now, I would feel pretty good about this ticket. Arsenal over 1.5, Brentford over 1.5, Wrexham over 1.5, Ipswich over 1.5. If we stopped it there, we're at plus 694. Oxford and Birmingham. Oxford is the home team. They've been terrible, although they did win their last time out. Birmingham is Tom Brady's team. They've been very inconsistent. I think a pass, just too inconsistent for everyone all the way around. Middlesbrough and Norwich. Middlesbrough has been great, but Norwich is in nice form. So a little bit buyer beware here. Um, I would think if you want to do that over 3.5, 4.5 round robin with those teams we talked about in the EPL, the Wolves game, right? West Ham in that game, the Fulham game. Throw this Middlesbrough and Norwich game. This has all the makings of a higher scoring game. It could get definitely off the hinges here. Plus 470 for over 4.5. Ends up 1-0 Middlesbrough. Sorry. But this game is the most likely, I think, to me, to really get off. Millwall is at home against Sheffield United. Plus 140 for Millwall. Sheffield United plus 190. All Millwall does is win and score goals at home. So they don't seem like it's super candidate here against a stubborn Sheffield team. I don't think that they're a full layup, so we'll throw them off the primary ticket. But on the risky ticket, if you're doing a risky 2 goals ticket, throw them on there, plus 132. Hull against Blackburn. I don't know how Hull is the underdog here at plus 210. They're much the better team than Blackburn. In fact, we will take them for their team goals. We're going to get paid nice on their payout. And Hull's been giving us some really nice payouts. 2-1. That's how we juice up this ticket here. 2-1 on Hull over 1.5 goals against Blackburn. All right. We'll take that all day. Hull over 2.5 is at plus 750. If you're going to do some teams for over 2.5, basically they would be the teams we're picking for 1.5. Over 2.5 is at plus 750 for Hull goals against Blackburn. Portsmouth against West Brom. West Brom's been bad. Portsmouth in a little better form. Portsmouth paying nice at plus 210 at home. Again, if you're going to do some sort of a underdog, big money line parlay, just throw Portsmouth in there. A Portsmouth Hull parlay together would pay decent. And then you could probably throw in on that side of things as well. Let's see. Leicester at a nice plus 100 even price, right? Some of these dogs that we mentioned in the EPL as well. So I'm fading West Brom. I'm not jumping on the Portsmouth bandwagon fully, but I get it if you want to because West Brom's been so bad. And QPR is going to play Coventry at home. Usually when a team kind of spits up all over themselves and blows a nice lead and they're playing well, it falls apart bad the next week. I don't like QPR at home against Coventry here. Coventry's plus 105. I think that's a good play. Let's take a look at the Coventry team goals. They are your best team in the championship. And even money at over 1.5 goals. All right, so we have 6 teams over 1.5 goals, 3 in the Premier League, or I'm sorry, 2 in the Premier League, 4 in the championship. This ticket pays 46-1. If we get a profit boost, we're going to get, let's see. Well, if we do our 30% profit boost or whatever, we get 25% profit boost, then figure $100 will win you about $6,000 on these 6. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Wrexham, Ipswich, Hull, and Coventry. All right, let's see how we do. Super over 4.5. We'll go with the Wolves game in the EPL. We'll go with West Ham. We'll go with Fulham. And we'll go with this Middlesbrough and Norwich game. If there's a second candidate in the championship, then I think we try Watford and Swansea if you need a 5th team to play in the round robin. Over 2.5 goals, play any of those teams I just mentioned with the 1.5s. Again, primary ticket one last time, over 1.5 goals each. With your profit boost, this is over 60-1. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Wrexham, Ipswich, Hull, and QPR. Not QPR. Not QPR. Coventry. Yes. All right, guys. That's it. Let's tune up the Spurs fans. Do we have the Spurs fans ready to go? Here we go. All right, lots of listeners and viewers on this first episode of 2026. I am Stephen Murray. This is the Friday Soccer Paycheck. We shall return next Friday. We have games all weekend. Super Bowl weekend, we'll take a look at that. We'll have the round robin on as well 1 week from Sunday on your Super Bowl special for your NFL football. All right, guys, good luck. Enjoy the games.